Okay, and so today I'm going to do a character design. It's a design for a character in a series, I guess it is, of we'd call it like a book, a novel, which could also be turned into a TV show, a comic, and this and that. It's a concept for a thing like that. Maybe you know the right word for it. I don't, but I know that I'm drawing pictures, and so I need to make a design for this character who is called Pat Listowel, and this is for a novel that's already been written, being worked on, and has the other series in the works for it. I'll put a link if I have it in the description below, which you can check out. It's called Orbital Wars. And this guy here, I don't know all the details. I actually have to get around to doing some more reading. Admittedly, I haven't had time. I do need to keep my drawing up anyway, though, and I'll get to reading more of that. But I did read a description of the character, which came with some pictures, and as you can see, I kept some excuse me, some notes in here. He's a 16-year-old guy, brown hair. He has a jetpack, jet boots, and there's a futuristic Celtic look, and that came with a bunch of pictures too. So I had picture references that helped me to start up the initial sketch here, and I just came up with this basic look. So he has a hood, as you can see here, and so a bunch of little details on the features. His body has this splinter cell kind of thing going on, and a certain pose was requested because he has some kind of magic power. I don't know if it's magic or technological, but he can throw up his hand and make a force field sort of thing going on there. Yeah, so that's what we have. The anatomy here is not working. I have to rework it because that was all just very rough sketch phase there. See the shoulders here, have the elbow come down to about there. I guess his arm should be tucked in a little bit actually, like that, over here. Yeah. With all that shading in there, maybe you can barely tell the difference anyway. This hand, maybe a fist can be formed up here, something like that. Yeah. So I kept his head kind of small. That was intentional because I can rework that head size easily enough. What I want to do is to just leave for the fact that he might be quite tall, and that's where that becomes helpful if you leave the head a little bit smaller. See, average human height will be, when it comes to being proportional, the height of the body should be about 8 times the head, or if you're just looking at the body, I guess it would be 7 times the head. It's in that general area. You always have to use your eyes anyway, but yeah, after you draw the head, you calculate how big that is and then make the body 8 times or 7 times that. I'm not sure I know how to do it, I don't know how to say it. I have it in my previous videos. And he should have a concerned look to him. That's one of the requirements. I guess he's kind of a sensitive. That's not concerned. That's worried. Let me see. He's kind of a. I don't know if sensitive is the right word, but he's a thinner, leaner, more of a. How would you say? More of a wizard type of character. Less of the warrior kind of way about him. So yeah, something like that. Be about right. And this hand here should be in the stop position, so as if he's standing in front of you saying stop, just stop. The hand like that. Of course, the middle finger is the tallest one. You have kind of an arc that goes here. I keep wanting to do a show dedicated to hands. I can always brush up my own hand knowledge as well. It's allegedly one of the hardest things to draw on the human body, and I don't really disagree with that. It's a more complicated thing, but actually I think you could spend just as much time studying anything such as the face. It has so many features to it. There's something about the hands, the way that they can bend and twist, I guess, and you have so many different positions that can come out of the hand that makes it a bit more daunting of a task to draw, and to get the feeling and emotions that come out of the hands is also no easy task, really. So with a splinter cell like body, and splinter cell, quite honestly, I don't even know. I guess it comes from a game. I got a picture of it. It's a character who has this, I actually wrote down words, basically straps and latches, as you can see there. He has a lot of packs which look like they might have ammo in them, and he has a thin, a lean, thin kind of, what would you call it? I'm looking for the word, a flexible, thin, agile kind of look to him, with all of these straps and latches and stuff like that. So what does that mean, straps and latches? I guess kind of like, for example, in this area here, you might have something that looks like suspenders that go from here to there, and there's like latches holding this together with that. So that kind of thing, for me, just to make it easy to remember, I just called it straps and latches. And also like sort of pockets around here and there, little packs where it might be hiding some kind of ammunition or special weapons and stuff like that. So he's a lean figure, but he's also, you would notice it at first, that he's kind of muscular. So he should be kind of strong, but in a lean way. Try and bring that out a bit around here. And then he has these boots on, which are jet boots. So I didn't really get into that part yet, the boots. I guess do a boot something like this. Since they are jet boots, which means what? It means they're boots that have some kind of propulsion mechanism in them. There should be a bit of thickness to them to, well, you want them to stand out so it's known that there's something special about the boots at first glance, and also some kind of technology might be, should be displayed, should be expressed visually, so that you can tell that there's something about the boots at first glance, something about them that makes them special. So I just keep on keeping on with the latches and stuff here. I kind of felt like trying to get this episode started. I didn't have much mojo, if you know what that means, and I figured a show with no mojo is better than no show, and that actually sounded kind of funny and gave me the mojo to go. So a show with no mojo is better than no show. As long as you remember that, then the show is a go. That's really horrible, I know. And there's going to be a Celtic kind of look. So I'm thinking for Celtic kind of, straps. Not straps, what do you call it? Like laces holding things together. Maybe right there. Yeah, just like that. When I had it all sketched out and done, I kind of had this feeling like it was, and it was almost reminded me of Darth Vader, because he has, if you look at Darth Vader's suit, he has similar things going on, where he has just, is it not necessarily straps and latches? I'd have to pull up an actual image to remember, but he has this kind of, all these things going on his suit that makes it look somewhat mechanical, not really mechanical, but just sort of stitched together, I guess is the word I'm looking for lack of a better word at the moment. It's kind of like stitched together, compartmentalized sort of thing. And in this area here, around his arms, it was very compartmentalized. I'm not talking about Darth Vader now, but the character, the Splinter Cell character, who I was given for reference of the body armor. You had a lot of this stuff going on, where it's like almost like remind me of a reptile, sort of like scales, going just piece by piece. So again, bringing about a feeling of like compartments being broken down there. So that kind of thing came out, and that's that. I feel like that came into form just like that. One thing I wanted to do before I go too far with this is there's going to be color. So there's a sketch which I can start with. I can add more detail. And the color, this is like the color foundation. I just jotted down some actual colors. We have brown, which is most likely going to be for the cape, and some black and gray, and then a little blue here and there to bring out some kind of special style or magical kind of feeling. Looks like he's kind of wearing I don't know, like he's wearing long johns with thick padded stuff, because you can't really make out his body here. So one thing to fix that up, I guess, is to tighten up some of these areas where there's his body, separate his legs from here and there, so he doesn't look like Puff Man. What do they call that guy from that movie Ghostbusters? Well, if you know, you can tell me. It's like the Marshmallow Puff Man or something. I didn't even know who that character was when I watched the movie. I think you were supposed to know who he was to make it more funny. He was like some old... It was actually, I think, old like advertisement for some kind of product. It was actually like a marshmallow man that was representing some kind of marshmallow product. I don't know. So when they used it in the movie, it would be more funny, I guess, if you knew. It was called the State Something Marshmallow Puff Man or something. So I haven't seen that movie in so long. And so now I can start to clean up some of this stuff that I don't need. I actually like that stuff. I guess a lot of people, when they look at sketches, they don't really appreciate it. They look at it. Some people look at a sketch like this, well, the extra lines here and there, and they say, what are all those extra lines doing? It looks unfinished or something. But I don't know why I've always liked that stuff, because I know, I've been drawing since a young age. I've always known those are basically, sketch lines, and they show a lot of the foundation of where things came from. So when you're studying art yourself and you see those sketch lines, you can kind of see where you can see with the artist how they were designing things, and how they were like sculpting out shapes and sizes and proportions and stuff like that. There's like so much meaning, and so inside those lines for me. So I like them. But when you get to a final product, of course, you have to clean them up, get rid of that stuff, because in reality, people, places, and things don't walk around with sketch lines on them. The end product is supposed to look like something in reality, I guess. Doesn't have to be perfect. Can leave some of that stuff in there. But just clean it up a bit. So you get the general character like that. Then, yeah, I'm going to do something like throw in a background, and this is just like the initial one, just to get the basis of what I think he might look like. And of course this will go through like some phases, maybe, potentially. Maybe it'll come out perfect on the first one, maybe there'll be some approval, disapproval, and I'll rework it with the person who I'm doing it for. See what happens. And then, yep, that's about it. So there's a jetpack back there, but it's going to be covered. I want to leave that note and get rid of some of these notes, because I basically have the idea down. Straps and latches I'm aware of. He has a concerned look. I'll keep that in mind. And his age, well, he's young. We know that. jetpack in the back. That's something I got to keep in mind, because what I'm going to do is a couple of different versions, basically three, with maybe it'll be in the same pose or maybe not, but just, you know, in different positions, different shapes and sizes. And futuristic Celtic look is something to keep in mind. I have some ideas for that. We'll do a little design on his, you know, throughout his outfit and on the hood and stuff. But yeah, let me take the brown hair. Well, maybe we will see his hair in the next one. I'll organize those notes. But let me take a quick break. I gotta organize some stuff, and I'll be right back. Alright, and so just taking a break and looking at it. One thing I noticed is if I flip it around here, it's a bit of lopsidedness, which is common with me. I do that all the time. And when you flip it around, you can really feel the there's little something in there. So I need to clean it up a bit. What I'm going to do first is, if I can figure out how to use this tool here. Is this the one I want? Yeah. I'm going to try and cut them out of here, away from the notes, which I have on the same layer. And how do I make that go? I think I've pushed the enter button, or was it the shift? Oh no, wait, I remember. It was something like shift and click. Is that right? Yeah. Did it work? Yeah, there we go. Great. Okay. So I'll cut him out of there, paste him back in. Now he's on a separate layer. And that's nice because I can you know, hide these notes, which I didn't really need at the moment. But I'll put them back in a minute. And a couple ideas. One is, for starters, I have to get this cape lined up a little bit better. It's supposed to be obviously kind of like blowing in the wind or blowing in some direction because of his position, because he's moving, something like that. And so I thought it'd feel better, might feel a little bit better if this is getting pushed back some. This comes up a little here, gets pushed back, and even can make a flapping kind of effect where it comes up like this, right, and then shows the back side like that, so it's kind of like flapping up. It's always nice to have a bit more dynamic stuff going on like that. And there's something about, I can't really put it into words exactly, but his cape's coming back here, his arms going there. There's something over here in this area that just seems imbalanced, really. And then it doesn't really look like a comfortable pose, if you ask me. I'd rather have this leg going back a little bit, and that come around like that. Alright, that might be better. Although the cape would probably come down a bit like that. Right? Might help a little bit. His leg gets tucked in a little background there. Yeah. Just to make it look like his, because his knee here looked like he's bending his knee in this arc like that. I don't really want that to be the case. I'd rather it be like his knee is, you know, coming out this way, like that, and then the knee is here, pointing straight down along with his shin bone there. That way, he might feel a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, that works. And for the boots, as I was saying before, we're trying to get some kind of feeling, kind of express that he has you know, technology in the boots. So I'm sitting here thinking, if they're jet boots, which is, I mean, that's all I have to go with. Is there's no you know, I have a freedom for creativity in there. Is if they're jet boots, well, what should they look like? I thought maybe they should have like some kind of things in here. Maybe that's where the fuel is stored, something like that. And of course, you need a lot of fuel. They put on both sides. Maybe it could even be on all three sides. They are boots. Who knows what else might be in these things? Could be fuel. Like he has patches going on in other places. As I was saying before, the what do you call those? Like pockets and latches and things. There's things stored away. So maybe there's other stuff in the boots here. Could be fuel for the jets. Could be something else. Something to give the expression that there's technology going on. And it's all very rough, of course, but just get the general idea out there. This part here, I didn't want it to follow too much. Like I even kind of blatantly expressed that this is coming from another sort of design. So let's not copy that design precisely. Try and break it up a little. Maybe this is more like a wristband thing going on here and here. They could have some special functionality to them. And yeah, just kind of break it up a little bit. Have some changes. Just like that. And when you start getting into details like this, you can sort of smooth out some lines. Best thing to do when this is all done would probably be to trace over a lot of this and kind of like make straight thin lines for everything. The pinky finger come out here, that one there. I just need some suggestion of fingers from a distance. Yeah, it's good enough. So this hand's popping out in the front, so it should be bigger than that one. A little bit of perspective. And yeah, it's actually just perspective, I guess. Depth. A bit more masculine V going on here. So that's that, and I just want to do some color real quick. So I have a background layer here. Going along with the theme of everything, I kind of feel like a deserty kind of feeling would be appropriate. Maybe right about there. Some color. So I could just have something. I wish I had better brush selection in here. This might work. Not sure. Try it. Draw that in there. And I always have a hard time with this. I actually have like bend over, like sideways, like arc my body over to try and get this where it belongs. All I want to do is add a little bit of color in the foreground here and have it sort of fade off into the background. And maybe have underneath that layer, I could do gray, so we don't get that perfect white background that makes it look kind of childish. Not childish, but to make it look more like a design and less like it's just some what do you call it? Just some paper sketch or something. So yeah, something like that. Put this up here. And is that a little too dark of a gray? Not sure. Like that. Also, something the gray does is, whoops, wrong layer. It helps us to, yeah, that's about right. That way the color of the sand comes out a little bit better. It helps us to do the, excuse me, I'm trying to get this brush thing to open. Maybe I need to be in brush mode. There you go. Okay. This thing has logic to it and everything. They have to be in, what was I saying? Yeah, the color mode. We're going to do some lighting and stuff like that. So let me start with is a brown hood. You can have highlights and shade is what I was trying to say. So when you have the gray background, then let me get the right color there. You can come back with highlights and stuff, and the highlights will stand out over the gray background. The grayness of the background will help white highlights to pop out a bit more. Not sure if I'm finding the perfect way to express that, but something along those lines. I'm going to do this very rough. Actually, a lot of people like the rough one I did previously. It's not really rough. I mean, I really did the drawing. It took some time and everything, but when you don't worry so much about filling in the color all perfectly, worry more about using the color and having nice color and stuff. Don't want to use perfect black. You need a little bit of black here and there. Where should I use a black? I don't want to make. Do I want to make the suit all black? Not really. I'll have a look. I'll try this. But it's more about how to say, fleshing out different colors and showing like reflective lighting and the way that light is bouncing around and moving off things. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Like the location of the lighting and the gradients and all this isn't really what makes it look interesting. What makes it look interesting is just having an understanding of how light works and just roughly display it. Having a nice color palette is good too. Kind of something to think about. So that wouldn't be objective to black gloves necessarily. Actually be kind of cool. But are black gloves gonna, stand out well enough? I'm not sure. This kind of makes his hand hard to see. That might be what you call sort of a design decision that would have to be made, whether or not you're okay to go with certain colors here and there just based on like visibility. If you make them, might be the coolest thing in the world in reality, but when it comes to like a cartoon or a comic or any kind of illustration, if it's not visible, that's not really going to help at all. Try a little bit of gray for the boots. And so you can see I'm just filling it in very roughly, not worrying about doing a perfect, line to line. It's not like a coloring book where you try to keep it in the lines. It's more like just worrying about the representation of the color, making sure that it's coming out in the right spots. So that right there is a bit of a foundation. We have to get a little skin tone in here. That color there is okay. And then we're going to go with a little bit of blue, was requested, perhaps keeping in mind it's kind of a technology thing. Maybe the straps stand out a bit better with blue color, and that'll make it interesting. Yep. So I'm just filling in the colors now. I'm actually looking forward to getting some lighting and shading on this. So let's go ahead and do that. I add a layer because you never know what's going to happen. I'm going to start to do some shading here. I'm going to put it down, the opacity down a little bit. You can imagine that the light is over on the right hand side. He's just whoops. It's actually like my phone alarm. Lighting is on the right hand side, so we'll shade everything on the left hand side. I don't know why I'm not getting really good feeling for this though. We'll see in a minute. Sometimes you gotta give it a little time, give it a few seconds. We'll see what happens. His arm will be making a cast shadow over this way. Take that out. This side of his legs, that side of his leg. He filled in a little shade here. A little. I think it's going to be the highlights that do most of the work in this one. Give it a second though. I think we can save this. It's not looking great at the moment. One of the things that really makes it pop when you're done, this part is just kind of, well, it's just shade actually. What else can you call it? But one of the parts that really makes it interesting in the end is one thing is cast shadow. Really adds a lot and really makes you feel like you're there. And also the reflective light. It's always kind of important. And we start bouncing colors around. Just be patient with it. We'll see what happens. So here's a little cast shadow here. And it's going to include his cape, which is coming up over there. Which side did I even start off? I start off, yeah, that was the right way. Cape is going back there, but his actual body should be more like here, right? So that makes it a lot more dynamic. Still kind of lopsided, not sure why. Maybe I should stay over here for a bit. Now I'll go in with light on this side, make another layer. I'll try and lighten up, lower opacity here. It seems like he has a very strong light coming on that side of him. That's the kind of thing that makes everything dynamic. Helps things to pop out. Definitely looks like he's wearing gloves. You can just scribble in some stuff here. I have it on a very light opacity, so you don't have to worry too much. This metallic stuff will probably make a lot of shine off of whatever the light is over there, even on the bottom parts here. This leg is back a little bit, so I kind of feel like this leg is forward, this one's back. This should have some more shading back here, actually. Get back just a little bit, push it back. Right. I have to sculpt out some parts here and there of his body. Definitely some cast shadow over here. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this is getting a little boring to watch, but I can, if this doesn't work out, I might even just stop the video and redo it. I still have a little bit of faith for this. I can see some reflective colors coming out. Let's see what happens when we throw in, because I'm not really confident with what I'm looking at now. It might look okay, but yeah. I'm just going to merge these color layers here for now. That is the lighting, wasn't too bad. Shading, maybe I could turn down the opacity on that a little bit. Kind of helps, yeah. Because he still has that contour line, sort of the comic book outline to him. So he doesn't necessarily need that dark of shading, because that blackness just fills in a lot of that stuff. Alright, now I have this, add another layer for a moment here. This yellow color, this is the shading over here. I'll throw this yellow color in on this side, where it should be dark and shaded on this side, but there could be light reflecting from the sand, basically. That'll happen especially in this area, where it's close to the sand. A little bit here, and here, and here. That's something that really helps to bring out some realistic feeling. I think that's about it. Okay. Random spots here and here. Yeah, that makes it a little bit better. Alright, so I'm going to take a look at that, take a break, see if there's anything else that needs to be done. Pretty much fills up all the ideas I had for now. It's not too bad. It's quick character design. To make it pro, definitely a lot more work needs to be done to clean it up. See if I can get into the full screen mode here. It should be kind of like that. Yeah, it's not too bad. Little offsides. There's a bit of work to be done there. But anyway, I'll just leave this one here for now. If I do have more stuff to do, I'll do it in time lapse, and I'll show you the finished product at the end. But I'm pretty confident with that as a quick sketch, and it needs to go through, you know, approval and stuff anyway. So, is it even worth? Well, I guess it's always worth it. I'm going to spend the time and finish it since I went this far with it anyway. Even if they don't like it, I can always use it as something, you know, and put it up on the website for this particular case, because it's not a really big like IP or anything like that. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll show you the finished one when it's done, and I'm going to do 3 or 4 more, but I might, well, definitely not putting those in this video. I might put them in the next one, or if not, there's more characters I have to do. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe or stay tuned for the next one. If you like the video, please give me a like, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.